This podcast is brought to you by Balancing Act. Teach, coach, mentor, inspire. A collection of candid observations on the challenges facing business leaders today. Balancing Act is authored by Dr. Andrew Temte and is available today on Amazon and other fine bookstores. Today we talk with William Billy Ayers Jr., also known as Good Bill, a Wisconsin native who writes about emotional relationships and mental health. He resides in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and often collaborates with a number of artists. We talk influences, themes of his raps, recordings, and songwriting, and what's next for this musician. You can find more conversations, food reviews, live music, and events on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is La Crosse Local.
Tell me you love me, that's easy to say. Tell me you need me, that's your first mistake. Tell me that all of my worries are nothing but stories, that my mind is forcing my way.
Are your socks wet?
Cause I'm melting the puddles at your feet, yeah, I thought you'd like that. And my feet are cold, cause I keep the blanket tightly wrapped and like trying to cover this and that just happened. I'm not lying yet, I never will in a verse. Consider a curse, but the light is blinding, I'm not driving. Okay,
my name is Billy Ayers. I go by the name Good Bill on my music. I am from Wisconsin. I was born in Waukesha, and I now reside in La Crosse. And what got me into music was my dad. He got a guitar when I was around 10 years old. I was jealous. I wanted one too. And that's essentially how I started playing, got into music. Also, I can credit my cousin. She introduced me to a bunch of emo bands when I was really young, like Fall Out Boy, Paramore, My Chemical Romance, all that good stuff. And I really connected with that. And that's what really inspired me to want to play guitar along with my dad and get into music.
Just listening to you earlier today, hearing you, kind of call out Lake Wazee, which is kind of not necessarily a surprise, but it's really exciting to hear local, I guess, rappers or anything, whatever you'd call it, kind of reference local iconic. I was instantly there being, from the area. So it was kind of interesting. But who are some of your influences, rap or otherwise?
Yeah, well, when it comes to the rappers, I'd say my biggest influences are Mac Miller and Kanye West. I think Mac Miller is one of the greatest of all time. His music always really connected with me. He's one of my biggest influences, flow-wise, style-wise, things like that. Kanye, he's just generational talent. When it comes to other influences, I'd say a lot of the emo scene really influenced me a lot. Bands like Copeland, I really connect with. But probably my biggest influence is my best friend, Jack. He goes by the name Jack Afternoon. He's another local artist here in La Crosse, and he inspires me every day and encourages me to just continue creating. It's tough. It's tough being a small time creator, but having someone that backs you up that does that as well is very encouraging.
You referenced here already with some of your influences, but you also reference in writing on your Facebook page write about emotional turbulence through relationships and mental health. And I could see it in your lyrics too, or hear in your lyrics. Why is that important to you?
I think that's the key to everything. I think vulnerability is a huge key to growth. And I think that me being vulnerable in my music helps me so much in just my personal growth. And it's also helped me listening to other people doing the same thing, like the emo scene. That's essentially what they're all about, is just being vulnerable. And that's what I connected with. I want to potentially make that connection for someone else, but then in the process, it's also really helping me grow through just tough stuff that's going on. I've struggled with mental health for quite my whole life. Music has helped me a ton through that, listening to it, writing to it. Same thing with relationships. Everyone has toxic relationships, or it can be friendships, romantic partners, anything like that, parents. And having a way to process through that and grow out of that instead of letting it suck you down and continue to be in that emotional, turbulent state, getting out of that. I think that is key to everything, just being vulnerable.
So you've kind of, already kind of referenced there in some ways how you put it down, but what is your process for songwriting? Is it instantaneous, or is it something that takes a while, or is it just kind of pulling from life? And it's
so dependent on my own emotions, because I'm writing about how I feel. This past year, to be honest, I've struggled with creating. It was a lot easier when COVID just started and I was finishing up college, and I had a ton of just crazy things going through me. And that's why I was just able to, it was a lot easier for me to create. My process in the past was always, I would write poetry first, and then I'd apply that to the instrumentals after, whether I'd make them or I'd get them from other artists that I work with. But I mean, at this point now, I'm doing whatever. Like I'll pull like from poems that I wrote back in high school. I'll pull stuff from there, or I will like make a beat and then start writing to that. Just something I never really did before. That's something I've been doing a lot more lately. But yeah, my process is all over the place.
About a year ago, you had an album come out. If you could tell us about that a little bit, but also like, what was it like recording? Like, how do you put that together? Is it something you just pass back and forth online, or?
So when it came to Bummer, so I had an album come out in April of 2020. It's called Bummer. You can listen to it exclusively on SoundCloud. How that all worked was I was creating it in my apartment in La Crosse with my close friend Jack, who I already spoke, and my other close friend Grant Bills. He's another local personality here in La Crosse. We're working on it together in my apartment, just recording. You'll just put up some pillows around a microphone, like doing whatever we can to just make the best quality possible. And then I'd send it over to my buddy in LA. His name is James Florent. He actually went to UWL. He's from Milwaukee. Now he's out in LA, audio engineer. He's a phenomenal artist too. You should go look him up as well. But I'd send it all to him, and then he makes it all sound beautiful. That's how that process worked. But what was awesome is, I mean, it sucked, but when COVID first hit, I still had a lot left to do with the album, like a lot. But I had to move back home here in McGuanago, and I didn't have a job. I got furloughed from my job. I didn't have anything to do. So I was forced every day to just work on music. That was the only thing that I could do. And that just like streamlined the process so quick. Like I finished so much just because it was all that there was to do. So that was the one positive of COVID. But since then, I've had a really, really tough time in making music.
Off that album, is there any particular song that you're particularly proud of, or are they all your babies in some sense?
I mean, they're all my babies. It's my first project. A lot of those songs I've been working on for years and years. But my absolute favorite is Hoping. Hoping is a track with my buddy Jack, my buddy Grant, and it's one that we all put together.
I know you'll see it. I knew I had to go just so I could leave it be. And you always were much brighter than me. So what we fell in love with is not what we need. You knew that. She took a wrong turn, way too late to turn around. Early morning, running late for the Greyhound. It wouldn't be the worst if a car had broken down. We were both secretly hoping that I'd spend another night in town.
I'm a big competitor. Go Bucks, Bucks and Six, pulled it out. Love sports, love team sports. And it was just such a team effort to get that song together. And it's the song that I'm most proud of. That one is on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you stream music. Highly recommend everyone go check that song out. It's a spectacular song.
So, I mean, you kind of already referenced the effect of COVID creativity kind of in the beginning. It was something that allowed you to push out that album, and hopefully things get better for you here since things have opened up. So, but what's next for you? What are you excited about?
Yeah, so I've been working on a project. I don't want to give out too much away. I hate deadlines. It's just going to stress me out. So I don't have a deadline yet, but my goal is by the end of this year. I've been working on a project. The whole concept is this guy I've come up with my friend Tori. His little character. His name is Hap Bird. And what he's all about is he's the person that you become when you don't want to be yourself. He carries all your baggage, all the stuff you don't want to deal with, when you just want to forget it all, whether you're going out for a night drinking or you're just trying to get away. And then that's what all the songs are about. I'm really excited about it. It's really cool. So yeah, look out. Hatbird is coming.
So if people want to follow along, maybe check in on your process, what's the best venue to send them to?
I'd say when it comes to my music, follow me on Instagram and Facebook. My Instagram is GoodXBill. My Facebook is you can just find me Good Bill. If you want to see more of my personal side that you don't get in the music, just my thoughts and stuff that no one really should care about, you can follow me on Twitter. It's GoodXBill. It's a lot of BS on there. But when it comes to my music, definitely keep up with the SoundCloud. That's where I'm going to post a lot more of just demo stuff that I haven't mastered. And then my more polished pieces of art you're going to be seeing on my Spotify, Apple Music. You can just look me up, Good Bill, 2 words, all lowercase.
La Crosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you'd like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at La Crosse Local. Find out more about us at lacrosselocal.com, and you can subscribe to the La Crosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We appreciate it.